thank you all for coming. There's balls if you want.
I'm good, thanks. Thanks.
All right. Cool. All right, so I'm going to be talking, I'm Jason Yun. I'll be talking about the science of controlling your blood sugars. After I finish, it's about 25-30 minutes. I'll take questions at the end and then hand it off to Joe Scott, who will talk about the cleansing of isogenics. Okay, so the science of controlling your blood sugars. So we're going to be talking a lot about blood sugar, what it is, why it's the most important thing for your health and overall longevity. And we'll get into all of that, but first we need to get into calories, because everybody is so concerned about calories. People obsess about it. How many calories do I need to lose or eat to lose this amount of weight? How many calories in that? How many calories in this? So how does one go about gaining weight? So if you have the law, of thermodynamics, which states that if you take in more calories than, well, if calories out exceeds calories in, then you're going to lose weight. If you take in more than you take out, then you're going to gain weight, and if calories are even, you're basically going to maintain weight. Okay? So if that was completely true, then wouldn't it be true that everybody who's ever been on a diet would still be on the same diet and they would have the perfect body? Right? Yeah. Has anybody in here dieted before? Mm-hmm. Are you still on the same diet? Yeah. So, yeah, with calories, what you have to know is hunger is determined by our cells. Okay? It's not determined by your stomach or your brain. So your cells are basically going to tell you when they're hungry. We have hundreds of trillions of cells, and when they are hungry or they're nutrient deprived, they're going to tell you. But the problem is a lot of people will start shoving bad things in there that's not going to be nutrient rich and not going to feed the cells. So people can be basically cellularly starving all the time. Okay. So moving on with calories. So Ancel Keys, I don't know if you know him, but I refer to him as the Hitler of nutrition, because he is the reason we have all these nutrition faux pas and myths that are out there today and still being shoved on everybody. And some people are believing them, some people are not. Okay, but we're starting to move the curve away. So he did do one thing that was good in his career, and that was the Great Starvation Diet. So this diet took 36 men in 1944. So this would be illegal and very, very bad if he did it today. But he took 36 men in 1944. 12 weeks, he fed them 3,200 calories, and then he started the starvation phase for 12 weeks. The amount of calories he fed them on the starvation phase was 1,570. So most of the diets today will be under that, and a lot of women will still be under that amount. Okay. So what happened as a result, average weight went from 152.7 down to 115 pounds. The heart rate dropped from 55 to 35, and that was basically to preserve the metabolism, because your metabolism, its main job is to keep you alive. There was a 21% reduction in strength. They only had one bowel movement per week. Every one of them had mental decline and depression, and they felt cold all the time, regardless of what they did to get warm. And they didn't feel skinny, they just felt other people were fat, or looked fat. So that's basically the same mindset that anorexics have. And they were crungry all the time. So crungry is basically you're cranky and you're hungry. So afterwards, Keys concluded that it took 4,000 calories a day for almost a month to bring the metabolism back to normal after the starvation period. Okay. So basically the conclusion was every time that you diet or you don't consume enough calories or the right nutrients, you're basically starving your metabolism, you're starving your organs, you're starving your hormones, and you're basically damaging yourself. So every time you go on a diet, it's going to be harder and harder to get back to normal once you do find the right thing that is basic nutrition. So, but the problem is we need to figure out what the right type of food is, which we'll talk about here. Okay, so what if it's all just been a big fat lie? That was an article in 2002 by Gary Tobbs. It was in the New York Times. It's basically what started the questioning of the FDA and USDA and all their recommendations. Are they wrong? And I believe they're wrong, but current recommendations right now, and I believe this is for women, anywhere between 1,600 and 2,100 calories. You're supposed to get 60% of that from carbohydrates and 20 to 30% from both protein and fat. Okay. In 1994, the American Diabetes Association, they upped the carbohydrate recommendation from 50 to 60% up to 60 to 70%. Okay. Do you think it's a coincidence from 1997 to 2007 that the diabetes rate in America doubled? I don't. Summary of the book, Why We Get Fat, that's also by Gary Tobbs. Highly recommend getting it. Basically goes over the history of the scandals and why we believe that cholesterol is all bad and carbohydrates are good. But basically the summary is insulin makes us fat. Okay. But what drives insulin? Okay. Carbohydrates drive insulin. Okay, so carbohydrates, talking about grains, gluten, sugar, oatmeal, orange juice, Twinkies, bagels, donuts, cereals. Okay. And I throw all those together because basically they are all sugar to the body. It doesn't know the difference. And again, controlling blood sugar levels, most important thing you can do for health and aging, also most important thing you can do for fat loss, weight loss, maintaining how you want to look. Okay. So the body wants to break down everything into the most simplest form possible. For carbohydrates, that is glucose. So if you eat carbohydrates, the body's going to turn it into glucose. You eat fat, it's going to turn it into fatty acids. You eat protein, it's going to turn it into amino acids. Okay. And the thing with simple versus complex, so I'm sure you've heard we want to stick more with complex carbohydrates, so like whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, that kind of stuff, versus like simple sugars like Twinkies or Snickers or candy bars or juice, that kind of stuff. The thing with simple, so simple, you eat simple sugars, it's going to spike your blood sugar. Okay, it's going to raise faster and raise higher than complex carbohydrates. So it's going to go up, and then you're going to have an eventual crash. With complex carbohydrates, the blood sugar is going to go up, and it's going to stay a little more even keel, and then come down. Okay? But the thing is, with both of them, blood sugar is shooting up. And on the next slide, we'll talk about why that is a big, big issue. And if you're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks with carbohydrates, your blood sugar is going up, coming down, up, coming down throughout the day. So, they also have shown in studies that vitamin C will actually be taken out of the body if you eat too many carbohydrates, especially refined carbohydrates. And also carbohydrates are known to have anti-nutrients, so lectins, phytic acid, phytates. Those anti-nutrients can pull minerals from the body. They're essential minerals, and if the body doesn't have all the minerals and all the vitamins together, then your body and your organs aren't going to work properly together. Okay? So vitamins and minerals basically control your enzymes, enzymes control your hormones, and then hormones basically control you, so to speak. Sugar versus fat burner, so this is basically what we're trying to get you to become. So we want to turn you away from a carbohydrate burner to a fat burning machine. So basically, when you eat glucose, some of it can be stored as glycogen, which is stored carbohydrate. It can be anywhere between 300 to 600 grams of carbohydrate that can be stored as glycogen. Just depends on how big your muscles are and how well you're trained. Okay. Problem with that is that glycogen can only come out for use when you're engaged in physical activity or hard physical labor or something like that. Okay. What actually fuels us is the glycogen inside the liver, but the liver can only store about 100 grams of glycogen. So that's why if you are a sugar burner, you need to constantly be refueling throughout the day, otherwise you'll start to get crudder. Okay. And then the other problem with the liver glycogen is the brain and the central nervous system is going to use about 20% of that. So I don't know if you've you heard, but I used to recommend it, and nutritionists today will recommend that the minimum amount of carbohydrates you need per day is 120 to 130, because that's basically what the minimal amount that the brain needs to function. Okay? But what they don't tell you is that the brain can run on a better, more efficient fuel than glucose, which is fat. Okay? So how carbs make us fat? All right? So you eat carbohydrates, insulin gets released, insulin comes out of the pancreas, blood sugar goes up, so more insulin comes in to shove that blood sugar back down to normal. Okay? When the insulin comes in, it starts shoving the fat and the carbohydrates that you ate, it shoves it back into the fat cell, and turns that fat cell into a triglyceride. So we'll talk about triglycerides more, but your fat cells get bigger and fatter, and technically you get bigger and fatter. Okay. And then fat is going to stay in that fat cell until the blood sugar and the insulin levels return to normal. Okay. Like I said, if you're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, carbohydrates, so when you wake up, you might have been fasting for 8, 12 hours, blood sugar right down here, and then you eat breakfast, it goes up, and then it comes down, up, up, up. So you might never return to that normal level that you did, so you might never be burning fat. You might just be storing fat. Okay? And one of the big reasons, I'm sure everybody's heard of gluten, right? Okay? So some people are making fun of it, saying they're quacks and stuff, requesting all the gluten-free stuff. But one reason I recommend everybody go gluten-free is all gluten-containing products will raise your blood sugar. Okay, moving on, inflammation. This is the biggest danger to everybody. It basically opens you up to everything. So inflammation in person A might just cause them to become obese, person B might get diabetes, person C might get cancer, person D, arthritis, person E, just insert whatever chronic disease you never ever want to get. Okay. We get inflamed from foods we eat, chemicals that we put on our bodies, sunscreen, makeup, deodorants, shampoos, and we also get it from the environment. So if you live in a major city like we do, there's pollutants all over the city, and you can't avoid it. We want our inflammation to be acute, so we want it to come and go. Okay, so sorry, I usually get scars. I don't know where they are, but so I have a scar here, so that came from I don't know where, but it's there. But so it's got a scab. It's going to heal up. That's basically acute inflammation. So you get hurt, the body heals. Problem is, a lot of people are chronic, so it's happening over and over again, day in and day out. That's not what we want. Belly fat, that is the worst inflammation you can have, because there's a thing called visceral fat, so that's the fat that's stuck around your organs. Most of our organs are in this general vicinity, and visceral fat is going to constrict, and it's not going to let the organs move and expand and do what they need to do. Okay, so very inflammatory. And then we have the blood-brain barrier. Okay, so if something passes the blood-brain barrier, basically it becomes very, very addictive and very, very hard to get off. So foods that pass the blood-brain barrier, you have cocaine, heroin, marijuana, alcohol, nicotine, caffeine, sugar, grains, and gluten. Okay? So very, very hard to get off of those. And then finally, Alzheimer's and dementia. Alzheimer's disease is now a top 10 killer in the United States. Alzheimer's and dementia it costs more to treat those two than it does cancer. And it's not even close. It's like 2.5 times greater to treat those two diseases. Okay? Because basically, cancer, if you get it, you can cure it, but if you get Alzheimer's and you get dementia, you basically have it for the rest of your life. Alzheimer's disease is now being referred to as type 3 diabetes. Okay, so it's not a genetic disease, it's not an old person disease, it's basically a nutritional disease that can be avoided. Okay. Metabolic syndrome, how many people have heard of the metabolic syndrome before? Yes. Yeah. carbohydrates. Okay. Basically, metabolic syndrome, it's predicted that 60% of people have it right now in America, and by 2025, it's supposed to get up to like 85%. So it's pretty bad. It's basically 5 factors, and if you have 3 of them, you're considered to have metabolic syndrome. You're also considered to be pre-diabetic, because most people who have 3 will go on to get full-blown diabetes. So first factor is waist. If it's greater than 35 for a woman, greater than 40 for a man. Blood pressure, I think it's 130 over 80. Not exactly sure. 120 over 80 is like considered normal, so it's higher than that. Where you're on blood pressure medication, you have that one. Triglycerides, if triglycerides are greater than 150. Fasting insulin levels, if that is over 100, then you have that. If it's over 100, you're pre-diabetic as well, because 125 or greater is full-blown diabetes. So now the Cleveland Clinic has lowered their number, so the number is 90. But just want to get that as low as possible. And then finally, HDL, if it's under 40 for a woman, under 50 for a man, you have that factor. Okay? And how carbohydrates affect each one of those. So with the belly, with the waist, visceral fat, carbs, especially wheat and grains, are going to lead more to visceral fat and belly fat. Okay? Carbohydrates will lead to overall fat on the entire body, but the gut is the worst place that it can go. Blood pressure, if everything is constricted, the visceral fat, blood pressure has to go up because it can't pump the blood up and down the heart, to the brain, to the limbs and everything. So carbohydrates will affect that. Triglycerides, carbohydrates increase triglycerides. So like I said, when you eat carbohydrates, they push the carbs and the fat back in the fat cell, turn them into triglycerides, and raises triglycerides. Triglycerides is pretty much an independent risk factor for every single disease you never want to get. Probably one of the best indicators of heart disease, and cancer, and stroke. So if your triglycerides is high, we know you're eating too many carbohydrates. Fasting glucose, or fasting insulin levels, the best way to lower that is just to get rid of carbohydrates. And then HDL cholesterol, carbohydrates will lower the HDL cholesterol, which people know as the good cholesterol. Okay. Then we have insulin resistance. Okay, so if you have metabolic syndrome, you basically have insulin resistance. So what exactly is insulin resistance? Defined, it's a diminished response to a given concentration of insulin. It produces less than the expected biological effect. Okay? So basically what that means is the pancreas needs to keep spurting out more insulin to lower the blood sugar back down. So when you first started eating carbohydrates, it was that much insulin, and a couple of years down, that much insulin, and now it's like up here. It needs to just keep shooting more and more and more out to get the same effect that you first had. Okay. What insulin resistance really is carbohydrate intolerance. Okay. So if you're carbohydrate intolerant, basically you know what to do. You need to stop eating as many carbohydrates, lower your carbohydrate intake. All right. So the American Diabetes Association, are they really in it to get people off of diabetes? I don't think so. So if they were, they would stop recommending the 50 to 70% carbohydrates. So they say eat your carbohydrates and take your insulin to control everything. Okay, which basically, in my opinion, is like switching fire trucks, fire hoses out for flamethrowers. Okay. Doesn't make too much sense. So in 2012, the American Diabetes Association, they made $245 billion. That's up 41% since 2007. So they basically want you to keep having the diabetes and keep taking your insulin to control your carbohydrates. Okay. I always tell people, if you have a doctor who is treating your diabetes, find a new doctor, because diabetes is reversible. It is, type 2 diabetes is reversible and very controllable. Okay, so moving on to fat. Saturated fat it's been demonized, but it is the best and it's the most important fat for your body, brain, health, and everything. Okay? There's been no single study that has ever connected saturated fat to heart disease, cancer, stroke, all the bad things that you've heard about it. It's the preferred fuel source over glucose, over carbohydrates. It is an inflammation fighter, especially in your brain and your gut. And it's going to raise your good HDL. It's going to lower triglycerides, and it's going to decrease that visceral fat starting on your organs. Number 2, most important fat is DHA. That's part of the omega-3 family. So fish, seafood, fish oil supplement, that kind of stuff. 2/3 of your brain is made up of fat, and 25% of that fat is DHA. Okay? So if you're not eating fat, if you're not eating your seafood, what do you think is happening to your brain? They did a study showing 1 in 100 people will go through life without any cognitive decline. That's basically because people are eating high carbs, low fat, low cholesterol. Okay? So I always recommend people, if they're not eating fish, take an omega-3 supplement. So get your fish, and take it, I say, anywhere between 3 and 4 times. If you can do it every day, even better. Some people are worried about the mercury content, but you don't need to worry about that as long as the psyllium in the product, or you're eating products with a lot of psyllium. So, because psyllium will basically negate the effects of ingested mercury. Okay. But ingested mercury versus injected mercury is a different story. So, I'm talking about flu shots. So don't get those. That's another presentation. All right. So cholesterol. All right. What is it? Basically, it's an essential molecule for the body. Without it, there would be no life. So again, we have hundreds of thousands of cells, hundreds of trillions of cells in our body. And every single one of those cells has the ability to synthesize cholesterol. So that's how important it is. And the other 2 things that each of our cells has is water and fat. So that should tell you how important all 3 of those things are. Cholesterol is a huge fighter of inflammation, so it's basically an antioxidant. It's probably the most important one. Basically, so you get injured, it basically will send cholesterol, it'll send other antioxidants there, it'll fight, it'll do its job, it'll win, and then it goes on to fight another day. But the problem is, if you're constantly inflamed, you basically have little civil wars going on in your body at all times. And that could be a problem if your cholesterol is too low, or if you have wrong types of cholesterol. Okay. So I don't know if you remember Tim Russert, the CNN guy. So when he passed away, his cholesterol was 105. So I didn't even know it could get that low. Okay, so it's the cholesterol lowering industry in 2012 was a $29 billion industry. So that's a lot of reasons to lie to people, get people on statin drugs and all that stuff. Okay? But if you give a healthy person a drug, they're not healthy anymore. Give a sick person a drug, they're going to stay sick. Okay? LDL versus HDL. So we all know HDL to be the good cholesterol, LDL to be the bad cholesterol, right? So, not anymore. Okay? There's good and there's bad of both. Okay? Good HDL is if it's high, bad HDL if it's too low. But there are different particles of LDL, so that's why we need to know what our particles are. Okay, so getting a total cholesterol test, I compare it to switching seats on the Titanic. It doesn't really matter too much unless it is too low. Okay, low is not good. Again, every cell has it. Cholesterol is a precursor for the fat-soluble vitamins, so vitamins A, D, E, and K. Without cholesterol, those vitamins aren't going to be absorbed. Okay? So vitamins and minerals basically start the cascade of controlling everything. Number 1 cause of infertility is low cholesterol, and in your brain, there is 25% of the total cholesterol is inside your brain. Okay? Your brain is about 2% of your total body weight. So again, if you're not eating cholesterol, you're not eating fat, what is happening to your brain? Okay. So, final slide. What to eat? This is the big question when people start on this journey. They don't know what to eat if they're not going to eat bread, if they're going to eat pasta, if they're not going to eat all that stuff. So, eating for health versus eating for fat loss, is there a difference? This picture says there isn't. I say, or this picture says there is, but I say there is not, okay? Because unless you're like an extreme athlete, doing extreme stuff, that kind of stuff. But eating for health, if you eat for health, basically your metabolism will return to normal, your organs and everything will start working properly, and that includes your metabolism to burn fat. Okay? So that is basically what I have. I will take any questions. And this is a picture of my daughter. I told him to make a what's it called?
That was the best one.
Yeah.
Michael Ward.
So, any questions? No? Okay, very good. Then I will turn it over to Jill Scott.
Great. So we are going to talk a little bit of, really go off of what Jason talked about with nutrition and detoxifying, cleansing, the need for that in the body. So this will just give you a little information first with the short video.
I'm interested, Jason, how long have you been using the Isogenics product?
Started May 2013.
Okay, great. What's the biggest thing that you found that's been most helpful for you?
It was the 30-day cleanse.
Okay,
So
great.
I started that, I think, June, and I went to July. And basically I lost 3.1% body fat.
Wow.
16 pounds.
Wow.
All right, so yeah, we'll watch this real quick. I'm actually not sure which version it is, but we can stop the video.
One of the biggest threats to our health is our own environment. Some toxins are easy to spot. However, most are either invisible or undetectable to the average person.
We have poisoned our water, we have poisoned our air, we are poisoning our foods, and we're doing that to allow industry to advance, but in the process we're introducing hundreds and hundreds of pollutants into our body.
In particular, I worry about pesticides, herbicides on the fruit and vegetables you eat, and on the animal side, very concerned about growth hormone, steroids, antibiotics being injected into the food supply.
Prescription drugs that are now showing up in the water supplies, about arsenic that's showing up in the water supplies, heavy metals.
We have sterilized our topsoil. The pesticides not only kill the living organisms that come to attack the farmer's produce, but it also hits the topsoil and it kills all the living microorganisms and bacteria that convert an inorganic rock mineral into an organic form for it to be absorbed and uptaken by the plant.
For us to assume that just because we have a plethora of food that we're not undernourished is really wrong, because our food, unfortunately, is undernourished.
Our nutritionally bankrupt food, combined with toxicity, is wreaking havoc on our mental and physical health. When our health is compromised, we lack the energy needed to perform the daily functions of life. It is harder to stay fit, and we experience premature aging. It can put a strain on our finances and ultimately the relationships we cherish most. These factors can make us more susceptible to disease, depriving us of the kind of life we deserve.
The biggest problem I see with toxicity is body inflammation. You get a massive body inflammatory response. Regardless of what weight you are, you've got a major health problem.
There are 80,000 toxins in our air, in our food, and our water. And it doesn't matter if you're lean, it doesn't matter if you're not. You are going to absorb those toxins.
A recent study by the Centers for Disease Control revealed the presence of 219 toxic chemicals in people of all ages. The CDC also reported that we're spending over $75 billion a year on weight-related diseases.
We're putting all kinds of garbage in our bodies, and our bodies are then accumulating fat to try to protect us.
If you think obesity is only a problem in adults, think again.
Obesity is a huge and growing problem in children. We are producing obese children. That's horrible. For the first time, our children aren't going to live as long as their parents.
Hundreds of thousands of deaths per year are linked to obesity. In addition to an unhealthy diet and lack of exercise, many scientists now believe that toxic overload is contributing to weight gain, obesity, and accelerating aging. Even fit and lean athletes without weight problems still need to be aware of what toxins are doing to their long-term health.
All of these things are adding up, and suddenly there's a health problem. So what can we do about it?
While no one product can single-handedly remedy all of our problems, it's imperative that we get serious about improving and supporting our health through nutritional cleansing, replenishing, and combating premature aging. Think about it. We change the oil in our cars and trucks so they don't break down. We change the filters in our heating and air conditioners to keep them running properly. We brush our teeth to prevent decay. We seem to understand the concept of prevention and protecting our investments, yet we ignore our most important asset, our body.
Our bodies are wonderful. They're fabulous, amazing constructions. They have a liver to detoxify. They have kidneys to clear stuff out and excrete it, but they're overloaded.
Unless you're living in a bubble, you need to be doing something.
What cleansing does is it gives us a break, and it provides us with products to help ourselves, to help our organs, to clear the junk.
Each of us is exposed to impurities every day. For this reason, it's crucial for everyone to cleanse to ensure good health.
No matter what your weight is, you can be healthier. And for people who are healthy, for athletes, it's amazing what the impact is. Their body composition gets better. Their workouts are easier. Their stamina is greater. Their recuperation is faster.
I wish I had something like Isagenix in my career. I think it would have helped me tremendously. As I'm doing cleansing, I'm able to breathe better, so therefore I can recover better, so I can do more.
While cleansing is important to assist the body in the removal of impurities, it's just the first step. It's also essential to replenish the body with vitamins, minerals, and nutrients.
Okay, great. So guys, thank you for coming out. I know Thursday night, it's been a long week, maybe not, but we appreciate you all coming and listening to us. This is my business partner, Kevin Kaiser. And so Kevin and I've been working together for 7 years now, I think.
Yeah.
His wife has a chiropractic office in Hilliard, and so they've always been on the holistic side of health, and everything that Jason said has been really right up their alley. Like let's promote prevention versus treatment.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think Jason and my wife could talk for about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They're exactly on the same page. That was great to hear it again.
Yeah. My background, just real quickly, I am a mom of 3. I actually have 2 in college now and 1 going to start college next year. So it's crazy busy at my house. I'm a personal trainer as well. Now I'm just doing more small group boot camps in the morning. I teach some fitness classes. But my true passion is sharing Isagenix. I've just found that it's been life-changing for me, but for so many of my clients. And I enjoy working with people. So I work with people all over the nation, some even internationally, and really just finding out what people's needs are with health, what's the missing link for them, and helping to provide a very solid, proven system for them to use. So we're excited to share that with you today. So Isagenix, has anybody heard of Isagenix before this couple of weeks when you got some information? Okay, Caitlin did? No? Okay. All right, and that's the same thing. When I started this 8 years ago, my sister actually was called me up, and she was doing a cleanse, and she was having phenomenal results, and I'm like, what's cleansing? What's Isagenix? So we'll take a little bit of time to talk to you about that. But what I'd like you to do right now is just think about your own health. And even if you don't mind just closing your eyes right now and just think, what could it be like if I had X? You know, what is that for you? Is it more energy? Is it being able to sleep soundly and wake up in the morning and be ready for the day? Is it playing with your children or your grandchildren? Is it releasing some additional weight so you don't have joint pain? So just take a minute to kind of think about that, what you'd like to have, what maybe you haven't even thought of for years, you didn't think was possible. Okay, does everybody have something in mind? Good. All right, is there anybody that'd like to share anything that they'd love to change that they know right now? No, Kevin, anything you'd like to change?
I'll just say I'm so grateful for energy.
Yeah.
And I mean, every day I used to be dependent on caffeine and sugar to get me through the day, and now my whole energy level, my whole mood has changed because I'm not bouncing and crashing like Jason was talking. So I'm so grateful for that. It's been a huge impact on my life.
Great. And are you living your ideal life? That just kind of goes along with that. Is there more that you would like out of this life that you're given? Everybody has a number of days, and are you getting the most out of that? Is your body where you want it to be as far as just how you're feeling? So we do like to definitely mention a disclaimer. We're not here to treat or cure diseases. We're not going to be able to put you on and take you off medication, but we're truly going to talk to you about nutrition and share some of the results that we've seen and are personally as well as just company-wide. So Isagenix has solutions. Do you want to talk about our 4 solutions?
Well, we have weight loss solutions, we have energy and performance solutions, we have aging solutions, and then the 4th one is...
Well, energy and performance.
Energy and performance, I combine 2 together. So yes, we treat, the way I talk to people is, I tell people I work with couch potatoes and I work with triathletes, which is the truth. The concept of cleansing and great nutrition helps bring everybody up to that next level. So we really do have solutions for wherever you're starting, or for really wherever you want to go.
Right, and for most people, I mean, wellness isn't compartmentalized. So you may want to age gracefully and have more energy and release weight. So we find that's oftentimes. So those are the 4 solutions that Kevin just mentioned. Well, we have the wealth creation, energy and performance. We've recently released a new line of performance, so we've kind of split that up and really have that as a separate solution as well. So the testing of our products I think is really important. When I looked at Isagenix, and I'm guessing Jason did the same, I really needed to know, even just for myself at the time when I decided to do a cleanse, I was running about 50 miles a week. I was doing 2 marathons a year, teaching 9 to 10 classes a week, which I still do, and getting up at 4:30, 4:40 in the morning. And I was tired. My body wasn't recovering. I'd wake up, I was sore, and I knew that I needed better nutrition. So I was really looking for a way to conveniently feed my body. I also was tired, like Kevin said. I felt, at the time, my children were like 7, 8, and 10. And so if I wasn't working, I was doing something with them. But for me, I wanted to put something in my body that was healthy. So that was very important to me, that the company offered products that are organic, that they're sourced from the very cleanest sources possible. We saw in the movie before where they talked about cattle, and cattle that are treated with growth hormones and antibiotics. Well, that's not something that I was going to buy at the grocery store. I certainly didn't want to buy that in a supplement. So I was looking for a pure product that truly said whatever was on the labels in the product. So Isagenix does spend millions of dollars a year testing their products. We have third-party testing. We have, how many scientists now? 50 or...
I think you're right.
There's a huge division of actually on-hand scientists in our corporate office in Arizona. And so what that label says is what's in the product. And that's something I think that's very important in health
products. And that's that third-party testing too. Right. We test it and then we send it out and they test it. And so it's a really strict quality control.
Yeah, yep. And then, so we'll talk about the solutions a bit here as well. This shows you a good picture, and we have some things too. We kind of like to touch on if you want to look at labels and things like that. So we'll talk about a little bit more about that. But Kevin, do you mind talking about our shake, which is one of my favorite products? Maybe, just Yep, exactly.
The Isolene shake is kind of one of our pillars of health, and the great thing about the Isolene shake is that it's a total meal replacement. So it's going to be something that's going to give you all the vitamins and nutrients you need. It's going to be very filling. Most of my clients and most of my patients that we work with, even some women find it too filling, but it's a very satisfying product. It is 24 grams of protein. It is a great balance of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, so that your body can absorb that protein and those amino acids. It does have a specific amino acid profile that's very healthy. It has probiotics and digestive enzymes. So as people get a little bit older, our digestive systems aren't quite as effective as uptaking the vitamins and minerals that we do eat. And so I know that my wife has a lot of patients with acid reflux, with digestive issues. This shake is a fantastic resource to solve those issues. So it tastes great. It comes in chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, black sesame. The shake is really top of the line. You really can't beat the quality of the ingredients. I know Jill talked about one of the reasons she was attracted to the quality. My wife, I know, spent 3 months, and she worked with a nutritionist and a naturopath. The three of them all did research for 3 months on all the programs in the market. They all three came back with that. Isagenix is a top choice. They all three tried it, and they're all three still using it 8 years later today. So it's been a great product, and it's convenient too. That's the other thing. I can't tell you how easy it is to know that you're going to have a shake. In 5 minutes, you're going to mix it up, you're going to drink it down, you're going to rinse your cup, and you're on your go. I mean, that's a really great thing. I work at home. Sometimes I don't want to get anything out for lunch. Sometimes I don't have time for lunch. That shake is so convenient. So it's kind of the core of what I think our program's about, and it's a hugely successful product.
Right, and Kate, you mentioned earlier, I'm not a shake girl, and I was the same way. I had actually tried a lot of shakes just because I worked out a lot. I thought, well, I need to have that extra protein. Many of them I couldn't stomach, and at the time I loved to have my piece of toast in the morning, which, yeah, I don't do anymore, but and I'm so addicted to these shakes. If I go a day without, my body truly craves it. And I love the convenience as well. I have one on my way out the door to teach some classes. I usually have at least 2 a day. Oftentimes I have 2 meals with that. So they really are incredible. What's your favorite flavor?
I like the chocolate, but I was just telling Kate that I mix the chocolate and the black sesame because it's kind of mocha flavor. So that's the nice thing about it too. You can mix up the flavors. I've recently started putting some coconut milk in my chocolate shakes, and it's great. Again, I don't have a weight loss issue, so I can eat a little more calories in it. So there are all sorts of things that you can do to kind of expand those flavors with like natural products like pumpkin. I know people put in there and some other things. So, but just plain, they're great.
Do you have a favorite flavor, Jason?
My favorite flavor is chocolate.
Chocolate. I've always been chocolate, but we have a natural vanilla, and like all summer, that's been what I've liked. So.
Really?
Yeah, they're really good for baking stuff too.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. You can add that, right? Great. Well, then the next product is the cleanse. We've been advertising a nutritional cleanse, a 30-day detox. And what that means, it doesn't mean you're going to just drink this liquid for 30 days straight. It really is an amazing schedule that's easy to follow, and is going to take your body through that process from point A to B. So a big part of that's the protein shakes that you saw. Our cleanse also comes in 2 forms. You can get a liquid or a powder form. What's inside that bottle, well, that one's empty, but typically what's inside that is 70 ionic minerals. So these are trace minerals that our body needs. It's very difficult to get all those minerals from the foods that we're eating, so we package that together. With those 70 trace minerals, there's also cleansing agents. So this is not a diuretic, it's not like a colon cleanse, you're not going to be running to the restroom. It's really about giving your body high-grade nutrition in a concentrated form, so then your body can relax, and then your organs can go to work at detoxifying. And so we're giving you the products to use to do that. Jason gave that example of the study, the starvation diet. Right now, you can Google intermittent fasting, and there's a lot of science that talks about how great that is for weight control, how great that is for longevity. And we agree. But when you fast, if you're just, not consuming anything during the day, or maybe just doing juice, then you also run that risk of your metabolism not knowing what to do. So the cleanse is really the opposite, in my opinion, of a fast. It allows your body to relax, so it can do all the benefits that we do with fasting, but it's going to give you so much nutrition on that day that you're really going to be in a state of abundance nutritionally. And then it's amazing how your body responds to that. Most people, the first thing that they tell me when they begin the cleanse is they have a difference in energy, a remarkable difference in energy. Many people who don't sleep well feel a difference in being able to fall asleep and getting better sleep. So they're not sleeping longer, but they're sleeping better and they're feeling more awake. And then
mental focus. People swear by it. In fact, my wife, whenever she's got to do a talk, she always does a cleanse the day before because she knows she's going to be so sharp that second day, and she's going to be able to just nail it. It's amazing how things that just don't get done for weeks, you do a cleanse and you're like, oh, I know how to do that. Yeah. I can get that done. It just really clears your brain.
Yeah. And then weight loss is a wonderful side benefit. We have many people who aren't looking for weight loss, and that's okay. We'll work with them, giving them maybe some more calories. But even like Jason, he doesn't look like he needs losing, but you said what percentage of fat you released?
First one was 3.1%.
3.1%. So that's amazing. And still worked out and still ran several businesses, and that's what we find. So the cleanse is going to help you in those areas that we talked about before: the performance, athletic performance, the energy, the weight loss if you choose. But it doesn't have to. I have some of my the stories of some of my clients that are the most dear to my heart. I have a woman who's about 105 pounds that could not make it through the day without napping. She was just so exhausted. So she didn't have an ounce to lose. Although she did actually need to develop some lean muscles, so this helped her on that. But it was just getting those nutrients into her body. So the cleanse it's a berry flavor, and it's very mild. All my kids drink the cleanse, so it's not, again, nothing like you might imagine if you're thinking of colon cleansing. This is our product. This is our spotlight product of the year. This was the one product that my sister just absolutely raved about. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Kevin?
Ionic Supreme is full of vitamins and minerals and adaptogens. And adaptogens help the body reach homeostasis. And the way I describe this to my clients and people I'm talking about is that when your body is agitated, this product will help calm you down. When your body is sluggish, it will help pick you up. It really helps bring your body back to that center, back to being grounded. All the clients I have love this product. Some people who have anxiety attacks, this is really, really helpful. Some people, it helps them sleep. It's just an all-around tonic full of vitamins and minerals that helps your body get back to where it's trying to be stable and trying to reach homeostasis.
Yeah, so we recommend having that once a day. Many people will have it twice a day. They'll have it morning, afternoon. Some of our athletes will have that and use it. We have a whole different protocol.
I forgot about the
competing.
And that sore muscles, and it helps prevent lactic acid, right? Yep. And so a lot of people take it before a workout because then they're not going to have the muscle soreness after the workout.
Yeah, and that also comes in two forms. The liquid, you just take an ounce, is the serving. It's kind of a stronger flavor. I like the liquid, but we also have a powder which is sweeter, and you can mix that with water. Some people like that as a tea, so that's another great option. The other thing that I love to talk about is our vitamins. Have you taken these? Vitamin packs? Okay. Isagenix offers all of this a la carte as well, and on the back of that, I think you can see a picture, maybe, or on the side of all the vitamins that are in there. But these are truly, when you're going through the initial cleansing system, you're going to be just giving your body an amazing amount of nutrition. But then you're going to go back to a maintenance phase where you may continue with a shake, and you might cleanse every 4 to 6 weeks, maybe do a day of cleanse or so. But these vitamins are going to come into play there because it gives you the omegas. If you're not having those 4 or 5 servings of fish a week, you have your iso-omega that are sourced from the Norwegian Sea. You have some vitamins that are specifically a multivitamin for men or for women. And then we also have many vitamins in there that are targeted for healthy aging. So resveratrol, CoQ10, vitamin D3. One of our products, which is probably, we could have our whole company just around this one product, is called Isagenesis, and that is a support for the ends of our chromosomes. So it's really, as the ends of our chromosomes, our telomeres shorten, our body ages. And so it's really working to support that, and you know, to give us, hopefully, trying to turn back the clock if possible. So that's something a lot of people will add to their system, or they'll order that after they've gone through a complete system. But that's one of the things, well, actually everything you've seen besides the cleanse, I do every single day. And then I'll do the cleanse portion. For myself now in a maintenance, I'll do that maybe every 4 to 6 weeks. What we recommend when you're doing your 30-day system is you'll have a day of cleanse every week. So maybe every Monday you'll cleanse, and then you'll have your 2 protein shakes and a healthy meal for your other days. And then if you want to really accelerate it, then you can add in and do a 48-hour cleanse. And so locally we will coach you, we will work with you, so we help you to figure out what's best for you. So I'm just going to slide through this real quick. I do want to point, or do you want to go through that real quick, Kevin, just the results that we've seen?
Well, recently there was a study where we compared the Isagenix system with the Heart Healthy Diet, which is recommended by the American Heart Association. And really, we blew them out of the water. We're 4 times more effective on fat loss. We are 4 times more effective on increased lean muscle mass. And I know Jason has got to be the biggest fan of lean muscle mass, you know, because if the more lean muscle you've got, the more energy you've got, the more strength you've got, the more energy you burn. We're 2 times increased metabolism, which again helps you burn that fat, helps you keep lean. And then we're 3 times more in toxins released. And that toxicity issue is something that we both feel very strongly about. You know, everybody is affected by toxicity, whether we are living in Alaska or whether we're living here. It's just something we can't get away from. And it's cumulative. And one of the reasons that we chose this program is because it's kind of ongoing. You can do an initial program, and then it's like exercise, it's like working out, it's like going to the dentist. You know, you're not exposed to toxicity 11 months out of the year. It really is something that is a cumulative thing, and for us to have a resource to be able to recharge, like Jill said, maybe every 4 to 6 weeks to do a cleanse, kind of brings you right back there to that mental clarity, right back there to that energy level, and it's something that we find is a really easy, quick tool to help you keep on top of things.
Great. And then I'm going to skip a few here. Well, this just shows you some results, so you can see, if you can see some of the befores and afters. We have amazing results. We have scientifically not proven, but documented that the average weight loss with the Isagenix cleanse, if you do our accelerated start, is 7 pounds in 11 days. Over 30 days, obviously those numbers even go up. We don't have that well, I think we do actually now have that documented. It was 25 pounds in the 30-day system. But that's, everybody's unique, so everybody's body is going to respond differently. What I definitely recommend is you do your measurements, you weigh yourself. I know that Jason has a challenge going on. We also have a challenge that's ongoing, and so we give free product if you complete our 4-month challenge, so I definitely recommend doing that. And most of these pictures, I think, are people who've been in our Ice and Body Challenge. But you can see just some remarkable changes here.
I think that's one of the most exciting things about the 30-day program is that at the end of 30 days, you're going to have results that you can see, that you can feel good about. You're going to feel like you've accomplished something, and then it's so much easier to keep going. It's not like you lost 2 or 3 pounds, or it's not like you feel just a little bit better. I mean, the results are dramatic, and when you feel that much better and when you release that much weight, you're much more motivated to keep going, and you're much more motivated to keep coming to see Jason and working out, and it snowballs, and it snowballs in a good way. And that's one of the reasons that we do a 30-day program, because we're not just about quick fix, we're about really helping people get in control of their health and control of their lives. And this is a great way to do it, and we know it works, and it's guaranteed too. Jill, I don't know if you've told them that, but it's a guaranteed program. And within the first 30 days, if you don't like it for any reason, you can get your money back. And that's a really low-risk proposition.
Absolutely. All right, so again, this just shows some of the people who use our products. You saw some of them in the video, but we do have Olympic champions and past athletes. So we're going to just quickly show you the packages, see any questions you guys have. We'd love to go over that as well. But the 30-day system is what most people will get started with. These are some other versions. We have some other versions of it. Well, actually, these aren't, but on the order form I hand out to you. But what the 30-day includes is your protein shakes for the month. So you'll have 4 canisters. You can mix and match the flavors. So you'll have 2 shakes a day for 28 days. It gives you 2 of the cleanse, so you can do that in the powder or the liquid. That'll give you 4 days of cleansing. Some people add cleanse, so they can do 6 days. So that's, again, entirely up to you. It gives you that Ionic Supreme, the B vitamin. And then that's kind of the base package. And then with that, what we recommend is you get these little cleanse supports. So these three little guys down here, it's a bottle of snacks. They're a little wafer that help with your metabolism, blood sugar. You'll use those on cleanse days for sure, and you can use them on your shake days. This is our accelerator. They're fat burning capsules, all natural, green tea extract, cayenne pepper, but they help rev up the metabolism. And then this is IsoFlush. Jason mentioned that with that diet, some people weren't having movements for about a week. We don't see anything like that, but we do find that when your body cleanses, it takes a while to work through the intestines, or it could. So the IsoFlush just helps. It's a magnesium capsule. It's very gentle to the colon. It helps cleanse the colon. It helps with regularity. So I know for myself, the first time I cleansed, the first 2-day cleanse, it took a day for me to become a little more regular, and then you know, from then on, it's been actually better than ever. So, and then with that system, then you get to also add on to that. So there's a little bit of a credit. So you could order like our meal replacement bars if you want some options instead of shakes. Or one of my favorite products is our healthy chocolates. They're actually dark chocolate or milk chocolate that help with hunger. So those are amazing on cleanse days. And then we have, if somebody wasn't really interested in cleansing or the weight loss, then we definitely have an energy solution or a performance solution. Does anybody have questions? Yeah.
When I went online to look at it, I recall the 30-day cleansing and fat burning system being more expensive than that $272.
Yeah.
Like $100.
Yes, you're right. That's a great question. Perfect question. Yes, and it is. So the retail cost of that is about $385. Plus your tax and shipping. And so what we would recommend is you set up a wholesale account. And that's what Jason has done. That's what Kevin and I have done. So there's normally there's a fee for a wholesale setup, $29, kind of like Sam's Club. This week, actually, that's waived. This is our promotion week for the beginning of the back to school season. So you can have your wholesale account. You'll have it for 12 months. You can order online at the very lowest pricing, same pricing I get. And then your price is $270 or $272. Yeah.
Do I have to buy a certain amount with that?
Well, what?
Okay.
No. There's no requirements at all. No, you can.
You could just buy that 30-day one time and never buy any more of it.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. When you initially sign up, we set you up on an auto ship program just to give you the very lowest pricing. But your auto ship could be a $1 donation to Make-A-Wish Foundation if you'd like, and then you can remove that the day after your account's set up. But then if you choose to use an auto ship, the systems are even a little bit under wholesale. But otherwise, you don't ever have to order again. And if you do order, when you go online, you'll have those lower prices.
Okay.
And that also gives you, when you have an account, the other thing that Isagenix is really great with is referral rewards. So like you guys came together, I don't know who invited who, but so we find that because the results are visual, either people are seeing what's happening in your body or they're seeing you physically drinking something, we get tons of referrals. You know, today somebody actually showed up at my door because she wanted to sign up 2 of her friends. Like I totally was in my shorts, I didn't expect her, but she was so excited. And so Isagenix rewards you for that. So that's the other part. If you have an account, then we can link your referrals to your account and you earn money back. So you ordered this today, your husband orders it and your neighbor, you earn $150 back. So that way you can actually bring down your cost quite a bit too. So let me, I'll hand out order forms, and then does anybody else have any questions?
Anybody have questions about how it works or how it tastes or the scheduling?
Do you want to talk about your challenge, like how that ties in, or did we kind of cover it?
No, you do not eat food on cleanse.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just 30-day challenge that starts Monday and then goes to October 20th. So it's basically you're just following the 30-day cleanse system and fat burning system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jason's doing a challenge with that. Yeah, there's Facebook groups, and then what Isagenix offers too, if you guys want, we have quite a bit of support. So one thing that'll happen right away is you'll have a daily email, and that will correlate with what you're doing. So it'll have like a shake day, email at cleanse day. It's going to give you tips on drinking water. It'll give you some recipe ideas. If you're active on Facebook, we have so many wonderful Facebook groups, you know, that again give recipes, places you can just ask questions with how you're feeling, what's going on, and then you can work directly with Jason, with Kevin, with myself. So, you know, I work hand in hand with people as they're beginning this, just to make sure that they have their best results, best success. So
I always brag that I have a doctor in my back pocket. So
I'm
not a doctor, but I can call my wife and say, you know, and occasionally, like Kate was asking, there'll be someone who's a little bit outside of what we normally do, but that's the great thing about the adaptability of the system. It's like we can ask my wife, we can call the company directly, talk to physicians there. We can really figure out if someone's having a challenge, what's the best way to deal with that challenge. But that's a very small minority of people that we deal with. Most people get great results, and a lot of people adopt it as kind of a lifestyle, to be honest.
And we definitely recommend doing this with friends, you know, with family, you know, with some type of support group, either letting them know what you're doing to support you, but certainly inviting them to join you. We love to come in and talk to people, so if you wanted to have a little party at your home, we'd come talk. We're going to have an event Tuesday at the chiropractic office in Worthington. You're welcome to come there. But anything that we can do to help you to reach your goals, and oftentimes having people lock arms with you will help. Good. You guys know it all. Caitlin knows it all now, right? The cover, I don't know if you guys get Oxygen magazine, if you see that, but the cover of that this month is Lori Harder, who's an Isogenics associate too. So she's been on the cover of that magazine 4 times in the last year. She's won several competitions, and she still cleanses. Yeah.
I know one thing that people sometimes they don't really put together is that when you buy this system, you're actually replacing 68 meals out of your grocery bill. So take your grocery bill, take 68 meals out of that, and then use this system. Sometimes people think, well, I can't afford this and go to the grocery store. And it's true, you will be buying some food, but in terms of snacks, in terms of beverages, in terms of 68 meals, you're going to be withdrawing that out of your monthly budget. And if you're a person who goes to Starbucks a lot, or you eat fast food a lot, this food is so much less expensive and so much more valuable. So it's not in addition to what you're spending, it's actually replacing a big majority of what you're spending.